pushed people push people. So these days, and in all the days of the past, marketers and those who teach marketing will tell you that to sell people things, you have to convince them of the value. You need to convert them. You need to tell them why they need something or why they should want something, which are all just a bunch of fancy terms for convince or prove yourself or your product. And that is certainly one way to go. But it's not the way to go that I have chosen. And if you're here, probably not so much for you either. I don't push people to buy my work, not in my copy or in any other way. I don't explain why you really need that. I just explain what it is and what it is to me and why I'm so excited about it and what it has done for me. I invite. I take the position that my work is highly valuable and that value is already evident to the people who are right for it. Because it's certainly not valuable to everyone. But the resonant souls that are made just for me, they see it and they instantly know it. They feel it. They do not need to be convinced of it. The rest of what they go through after that is a process on their own, in their own mind and their own soul and their own heart and their own time about whether they want to buy the thing or not and how and all the logistics of that. And that can be for various reasons of their own. But all of those reasons are their business, not my business. And their decision to come to on their own time, not mine. I imagine that my people, like the ones who are made to interact with me in this lifetime, made to interact with my work in this lifetime, are like me. They are self-led. They know what they want and what they don't. They trust themselves. They're not afraid to try things that they'd like to try, no matter the outcome. Or if they are afraid, their curiosity and their desire to find out is stronger than the fear. That's how I am too. So they move anyway towards what they are wanting. But business people and marketers out there are always telling you to convince and convert and basically prove yourself to people because ... It works. Okay? That works. It works to push people into stuff. Our entire world does that all the time. Pushing ourselves around and pushing each other around is considered normal behavior in this world. But I am opting out of that, and lots of you are opting out of that. I thought I opted out of that a long time ago, but then I noticed I was still pushing myself around in sneaky little ways, which is a product of our environment. So of course we push ourselves around. We've learned to do that. So I still have to watch that because we are absolutely stewing in a culture of push at all times. So a long time ago, I decided I wasn't doing it that way in my business. And I did that successfully. It worked way better than pushing people ever did. And I did this because I realized that if I push people into something by trying to convince them of the value or overcome their objections, basically, which is what they will tell you to do, too, in marketing, so that they'll be pushed into this decision, then I would have pushed people in my energy field and my world. And I have zero interest in that because pushed people push people. Pushed people push back. And I have definitely tasted that in my business journey. And I did not care for the flavor. Where you convince someone who's on the fence and then you really wish you hadn't later on down the line. If you're in the service business, you'll probably know what I'm talking about because I've been in the service business for 25 years. And anytime I did that, I regretted it. And when I did that, I had no one to blame but myself because I attempted to take on someone who did not come to their own empowered decision, their own sovereign decision. And in doing so, on an unconscious level, I agreed to take on their fear for them. I agreed to take on their hesitations for them. And those things were never mine to take on. Those were things that that person can only work through themselves. They are the only one who can make those choices for themselves. That is their empowered choice to make. So I don't push me and I don't push others. I don't overcome objections. Those objections are theirs to wrestle with and overcome on their own. I just invite. I'm happy to answer questions, of course, but I don't need to explain the value. I feel that the value is obvious. And if it's not, I am not going to try to convince anyone because they're not meant for it. I know that the value is obvious to the people who it is meant for. And so I just invite from my own excitement about the work. And that way I get excited about the work people in my field without any pushing needed or necessary. But if I push myself into getting results faster, better now in my business, just in general, I will push others too. Now, no matter how much I'm like, no, I would never do that. I can't do that. I won't do that. No matter how hard I try not to, and no matter how kind and compassionate and loving I think I am, it's going to leak out. Why wouldn't it when I will do that to myself? What we do to ourselves gets done to others, whether we want that to happen or not. It just happens in more unconscious ways then. That's all. And if you've done this like me, don't be mad at yourself. It's all you could do. It's all you've been stewing in it since birth. It's like automatic until there's awareness. That's it. But like I said, if you do that, if you try to push or pull someone over the fence to buy things or sign up or whatever, or just convince them and make a long spiel, then you are basically agreeing to take on their hesitance and fear. You're agreeing to take that into your field and to prove yourself. And you do not want to have to do that. I do not want that for you. I do not want that for me. I do not want that for us as humankind. People are powerful, autonomous beings who make their own empowered choices. That is their responsibility. My responsibility is the invitation. That's it. My responsibility is to show up with the work that I've said that I have. That's it. I will not be proving anything to anyone like those marketers tell me to, because I only want people saying yes if it is their own real and true yes, their own choice, their own full yes, and one that they are actually excited about, not like, I don't know. But people who are like, they've already decided that they're going to get something good out of this. They've made up their mind about that. But when you do that, when you do the opposite, you get people who are like very reserved, and they are doing that. I don't know. And they're kind of over in the corner and they're giving you the side eye, and they're saying to themselves, I don't know if this is good. And they have this prove it energy pointed at you. And then you have to dance like a circus bear to prove it. Not doing it. Not doing it. When that happened in my past, it was my fault because I listened to others who said you have to tell them why you're worth it and you have to dance like the dancing bear. And that was always my mistake every time. That might work for others, but I see that maybe it does work fine for others. But it completely blows up in my face if I even think about trying to do that. If I have to justify my value or the value of my work to someone in any way, it is not going to be a fun experience for them or for me. And it will be my own fault because I was the one who agreed that I would overcome their fears and doubts and I would prove myself. And it was more than I could do. I couldn't possibly. Those are their fears and doubts, not mine. They're theirs. They're the only ones who can quell their fears and doubts about that. So that is exactly what that feels like. It feels like when you go into that, it feels like you're proving it, which hurts. As any of you know who've been in any kind of a relationship with anyone or anything where you felt like you were just having to prove yourself all the time, it's no fun at all, and it hurts. Whereas if I hadn't tried to push people past their own objections or overcome their objections or prove myself or convince them in any way, then I would have said with my energy, not in my words, but with my energy would have said, I'm not available for taking on your objections. That is your decision to come to. Here's the information. Your decision is your own. This is either something you want or not, and that's for you to decide. I'm happy to answer any questions, but beyond that, this is your sovereign decision. Then they would have made their own choice, and maybe they would have said no, and that would have been great because that would have been space for people who didn't need convincing or coercing of any kind, and they were just like, yes, sign me up. Yes, this speaks straight to my soul. Yes. When do we start? Yes, I cannot wait to work with you. I cannot wait to take this course. I cannot wait to be a part of this experience. I cannot wait to try this product. I cannot wait to get this painting or this print or this, whatever the thing is. And those are the kind of client relationships you want. Those are the kinds of customers you want, whether you sell products or services or art or anything else. But you want people who are excited about your work. People who are decided for themselves that they are excited about your work. People who make their own decisions and take responsibility for their own decisions. Not people who need to be dragged. You don't want that. You do not want that. That feels horrible to you inside. You want people who do not need you to dance like a dancing bear. And you become a match to those people when you stop being a dancing bear. You just stop being one. And on the plus side, not making yourself be a dancing bear is contagious. It helps other people see that they don't have to do that either. And don't be mad at you if you've done this, okay? We've all done it in one way or another, even if you've never had a business, either in personal relationships or in business or any, we've done it in 1,000 ways because, again, we are stewing in this in our culture, stewing in it all the time. So, but if you're sick of it and you want to just invite people to your work who feel excited about your work and have made and own their own sovereign choices and decisions, then just decide that you're not going to be a dancing bear and embody the part of yourself who knows and owns the value of your work and your life and your quality of life and your quality of peace, which means not having to be a dancing bear. And if you need help with that, as always, for this, I definitely suggest my, what is it called? My Work Sells Itself course. This is the best place for that because that's really going to help you embody the energy of the value of your work and not have to be that dancing bear. And for the rest of you, I will see you next week. Bye. And P.S. This is not to make pushing, convincing, or converting wrong, okay? That it's not wrong. Nature pushes. Nature convinces and nature converts all the time. You can see this in plant and animal behavior. It is not wrong. It is just one option. It's one way that life operates. And it's one option that I personally do not enjoy. So I have, to the best of my ability anyway, chosen another option for myself since the birth of my business 25 years ago. And occasionally I get sucked into thinking that I have to do it another way, and I get sucked into trying to do it another way, but I always end up right back here where I started because it's just the right choice for me. And maybe it's the right choice for you too. But again, and as always, that is for you to decide.